Hello everybody, I want to start this video with two questions. The first one, which city is the capital of IIT preparation in India? It's a pretty straightforward answer, so why don't you type it down in the comments. And the second question is, which, not even city, but area in the entire country is known as the unofficial, again, training hub for IT services? That's the answer, and don't know if you are familiar with the name, but just give it a shot. Now, the answer is, it's Amirpet in Hyderabad. Well, this is not me saying, but this is economists saying in 2017. And this is the article. I'll give you the link to this article from 2017. And why is this important for our discussion today? Because, let me say, my friends from early 2010s, 2015s, a lot of guys in Hyderabad and even from the surrounding Telugu states and the other southern states, they used to come to Hyderabad. They used to take a small room, share it with like 10 other folks, and used to learn these technology tools. Just look at this chart. The 8 represents the total landscape of what happens in the DevOps space, and this represents the number of tools that are available. And at Amirpet, you can learn any of these tools, and you can probably learn even a combination of them. But unfortunately, the time you complete the tool and you get into the market, that tool might already be outdated. And why is this happening? Why can't companies have a stable set of tools, and why can't they just continue to work on their technology systems? After all, at the end of the day, not all companies sell technology products. If you just think about an e-commerce company, what is their primary way of making money? They will sell you a soap, and on that soap, they make 2-3% commission, and they give you a membership for faster delivery. That's it. Then why do they need to have these technology advancements every single year? Think about it. It's not so straightforward. And I personally believe it has a lot to do with the human psychology. There's a lot of instability in our jobs, and not just in your job and my job, but even the seniors up the ladder. Senior vice presidents, executive directors, everybody's job is unstable. If the same thing can continue, then 5 years, everybody is comfortable. The 10 people work can be done by 5 people. And similarly, 3 directors work can be done by 1 director. So now what does the director do? The director says, let's change a few things, otherwise my job is at risk. And hence they change a few things, and then the technology slowly starts changing for the entire ecosystem of the value chain. So even a fresher has to learn new things. Well, there are many other reasons, but I personally believe the human psychology plays a very, very important role. Otherwise, in a lot of industries, there is not even a need to change these stuff. And that's the reason why manufacturing and other sectors are just getting started with digital transformation. Now, how does this impact you and me? The first one, we need to be updated every single time. Now, if you are working in a project, and if the project and the client themselves are updating, then you have no option but to learn. For example, if all the deployments were done through Jenkins, and now if everything is done through GitHub, then you have no option. You are learning 2 tools. But if these migrations are not happening on your project, and you are sticking to the old way of doing things, the legacy systems, so to say, then what happens if you want to move a job? Forget about your willingness to move a job. In 30s and 40s, you want stability. 2 things important: package and stability. But you would say, hey, I would rather prioritize stability. So as long as you are billed to the client, you are comfortable. But what happens if the client says, I'm stopping billing and I'm shutting down this project? At that time, you need to look for a new project. And at that time, they will be questioning you, do you know that new skill? Can you do deployments over this new tool? And if your answer is no, I have only worked in the legacy systems, that's a problem. Now, upskilling is not something which is by choice. You have to make sure that you are doubling down on upskilling a lot more. Because of this instability, you want that, hey, the next job is also at least in line. What else can you do in this situation? At least in my opinion, you need to have a good 6-month emergency fund so that you have time to go back to Amirpet if necessary, and also do that job search in a very, very stable manner. If you don't have that 6-month stability emergency fund which can cover your EMIs, 6-month emergency fund, I mean, let's say 6 months of salary, after tax salary, if you have it in your bank account as an emergency fund, you can access it. And doing interviews in a much more comfortable way, and you being confident, you can at least take a better job next time. So do not ignore the importance of upskilling. Do not ignore the importance of financial prudence. Unlike the previous years where you go to Amirpet only at the start of your career might not be enough. You might have to go to Amirpet even in your 30s and 40s, or you have to pick similar courses online and start upskilling, because it is not an option, it is mandatory. And the third thing which you also need to do is making sure you're always in the job market. Of course, how is this even possible? You might be asking, right? You need to build that right contacts, you need to keep going into Naukri, or you need to going into LinkedIn jobs, any of them. Now you might say, hey, I rather want to be committed to where I am and work there. Of course, I'm not saying don't be committed and don't take any and every job, but being in that job market should give you that confidence. At any point in time, what's happening? Can I crack a job? Is my skill still relevant in the market? You might be working in the same company for 5 to 6 years and you lose the touch with the market. So you need to have that reality check. And add on top of that, a lot of jobs from good companies now are not even posted on any of these job search sites. They are all filled through referrals. When you are in a good position, start having these conversations. Build that right network, support others wherever you can, whenever you can. These are the things which are not always on top of our minds. We are just thinking about, hey, did I complete that deployment? Did I give that access to the right person as an administrator? But what about myself in the time of crisis? We need to be thinking about that point as well. So think about these three things, right? Number one is, do you have the right skill set and should you upskill? Again, not an option, but mandatory. Number two is, do you have that 6-month emergency fund or the financial prudence? And number three is, am I in the job market or am I out of touch with the job market? Do I know even enough people? Can I get a referral? Trust me guys, a lot of good companies now will even invite you for an interview only if somebody has referred you from that company, because of the trust element. So do not ignore any of these three things. If there is something on top of your mind, but I did not cover in the video, do let me know and I will talk about it more in the upcoming videos. Thank you so much for all your support and look forward to continue having this open conversation, which most of you cannot have it with your colleagues, because of course some of them are not too candid conversations that you can have in the office, and on the other end you cannot have these conversations at home with your family because they might be more tensed and get anxious about your job. So let's continue these honest conversations and do let me know how this can be more valuable for you. See you again in the next one. Bye bye.